A country full of natural beauty, mother of rivers, Bangladesh. But what happened last month there? Many of us don't know about that incident. Today I will tell you about that, so let's start the video. The 2024 Bangladesh Quota reform movement, also known as the July Revolution, it was a series of anti-government and pro-democracy protests in Bangladesh, spearheaded primarily by university students. Initially focused on restructuring quota-based systems for government job recruitment, the movement expanded against what many perceive as an authoritarian government when they carried out the July massacre of protesters and civilians, most of whom were students. The protest began in June 2024 in response to the Supreme Court of Bangladesh reinstating a 30% quota for descendants of freedom fighters, reversing the government decision made in response to the 2018 Bangladesh Quota reform movement. Students began to feel like they have a limited opportunity based on merit. The protest quickly spread throughout the entire country because of the government's violent response, as well as growing public dissatisfaction against an oppressive government. The situation was further complicated by many other ongoing issues, like the government's inability to manage a prolonged economic downturn, reports of rampant corruption and human rights violations, and the absence of democratic channels for initiating changes. The government sought to suppress the protests by shutting down all educational institutions. They deployed their student wing, the Chhatra League, along with other factions of the Awami League Party. These groups resorted to using firearms and sharp weapons against the demonstrators. The government then deployed police, RAB, BGB, and other armed forces, declaring a nationwide shoot-at-sight curfew amid an unprecedented government-ordered nationwide internet and mobile connectivity blackout that effectively isolated Bangladesh from the rest of the world. Later, the government also blocked social media in Bangladesh. As of August 2nd, there were 215 confirmed deaths, more than 20,000 injuries, and more than 11,000 arrests. The unofficial death toll is between 300 and 500. UNICEF reported that at least 32 children were killed during July's protests, with many more injured and detained. Determining the exact number of deaths has been difficult because the government reportedly restricted hospitals from sharing information with the media without police permission. Hospital CCTV footage was confiscated, and numerous individuals with gunshot wounds were buried without identification. The Awami League government and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina have suggested that political opponents have co-opted the protest. Despite the curfew restrictions, the movement remained ongoing as it expanded its demands to include accountability for violence, a ban on the student wing of the government Chhatra League, and resignation of certain government officials, including the resignation of Prime Minister Hasina. The government's use of widespread violence against the general public turned the student protest into a people's uprising known as the non-cooperation movement. Now, Muhammad Yunus has been serving as the chief advisor of the interim government of Bangladesh. We all wish a bright future for Bangladesh.